All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're digging into a really fascinating and symbolic text called The Fivefold Prison of Earth. It puts forward this idea that there is a hidden code all around us, and it all revolves around one single, powerful number. So let's unpack the mystery it presents. So, it all comes down to this one question. According to the source material we're looking at, the number 5, well, it isn't just a digit. It's a symbol, it's a key, and maybe, just maybe, it's a lock. The text suggests it's the most important number on what it calls our game board.
Okay, let's get into the weeds here. The source's opening argument is that the number 5 is used on purpose, systematically, as a number of control. It claims this is no accident, but a really clear signal being broadcast by some of the most powerful organizations in the world. And here's where they start building their case. The source points directly at global intelligence and military structures. You've got the five-sided Pentagon, the UK's MI5, and of course the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. The text pretty much lays this out as Exhibit A for its whole theory.
Okay, so if 5 is this big number of control, then you gotta ask, what's being controlled? And that question leads us right to the source's central metaphor, a concept it calls simply the pen.
So this is the crucial point. The author is asking us to totally reframe how we think about Earth. In this view, our world is a pen, like a penitentiary, a containment area. It's also described as a game board, a place where our whole story plays out, but within very specific boundaries.
And right here, we have a direct quote from the source that ties it all together. The pen of Earth is given the number 5. And this isn't just some random label. According to the text, it's its fundamental designated number inside this massive game.
So they take this whole game board idea even further, and this is where it gets kind of quirky. If the number 5 represents being stuck inside the game, the source suggests the only way to get out is to hit a 6, symbolically, like batting the ball out of the park to leave the playing field for good.
But you gotta be asking, why 5, right? Why not 7, or 3, or 12? Well, this next part is what the source presents as its big aha moment. It argues the connection isn't random at all. It's based on this deep symbolic link that kind of unlocks the entire theory. And here it is, the big reveal. The author claims that the word pen and the 5-pointed pentagram are symbolically the exact same concept. A pentagram has 5 points. The penitentiary is the pen. So therefore, 5 is the number of the pen. This connection is presented as the main reason why those intelligence agencies supposedly use the number.
From this point, the theory just kind of expands outward. If this core idea is true, the source suggests, then we should be able to find little echoes of this pen idea hidden in plain sight, coded right into our everyday language. Let's start with the word penthouse. The source deconstructs it, literally. It's not a luxury apartment, but a penthouse, a structure that's built to give the people inside a commanding view of the pen, like a viewing box for the game board of Earth. The theory then shifts from architecture to our emotions. You know that feeling of being pent up? The source argues that we're linguistically describing our own situation. We are people who are literally penned up, contained, confined, and repressed inside the system. And finally, the source maps this whole code onto an entire human life, calling it a life sentence. It claims our journey begins when we spend a penny, it continues when we get penalized for breaking the rules, and it all ends when we draw our pension at the end of our term.
All right, now we get to the final and, honestly, probably the most dramatic analogy in the whole text. This takes the idea of a simple prison and elevates it into something much, much bigger. A spectacle, a performance on a massive scale.
This quote just completely reframes the whole thing, from simple confinement to a performance. We're not just prisoners, we're pawns on a stage. The pen is the arena. But, and this is crucial, the source introduces the players, who are spectators watching the game, but who aren't actually a part of it.
And that's where the source leaves us. It builds this entire case from intelligence agencies to linguistics, from a prison to a coliseum, and it all leads up to this single provocative question. It doesn't give us an answer, it just asks us to think about the game, the number, and our role in all of it. And that concludes our explainer on the fivefold prison of Earth.